The Chicago Bears are just 16 days away from training camp opening and rookies reporting. And I feel like we got to talk about what we need to see development-wise and growth-wise from each position group. And we're going to start, of course, with the one that we care about the most, the quarterback position. And it starts right now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. Do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. The only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So make sure that you stay in tune with us, man. So getting things started here with the great, elite, top five. No, I'm just saying. I'm not sorry. I got a little too excited on that one. No, getting things started here with Caleb Williams. What the Chicago Bears need from Caleb Williams this season. There is a lot that I think, is expected of him that is going to be heaped onto his shoulders. But the reality is, right, Caleb Williams comes into this season with a leg up than any other Bears quarterback, probably going back to Jim McMahon, where he gets the opportunity to return, understand the system, know what's expected of him, not have massive changes around him. Of course, some names, right? Drew Dahlman not being there and things like that. That is going to have a difference when you come into this camp. You can't ignore your starting center, who is a Pro Bowl caliber player, retiring. But you go out, you add Garrett Bradbury to this roster, right? Feels like you've done enough with the offensive line that you're going to be able to sustain yourself for a little while here. And the potential of Logan Jones taking over that job, I think, is going to be very interesting to watch here at camp. But speaking specifically on Caleb, what we saw at training camp, what we saw at minicamp, what we saw at OTAs, was a young man who returned very poised with an understanding of the system and what seemed to be an understanding of take what's available to me. And I think, to me, right, that is what the Bears need most from Caleb Williams this upcoming season, because right, the 65% number or the 70% number, I should say, that Ben Johnson has set out there. That is the goal for the Bears overall, right? But the reality is, if certain guys don't catch the ball, if you end up running more than you end up passing and things like that, like there's a lot that I think can go into that. And so it just depends on, the amount of attempts that Caleb is going to get a game, which, if it's anything like last season, that ball going to be in the air, right? And I think that ball is going to be in the air. I think that's the one thing with Ben Johnson, right, that we can guarantee that Caleb's going to be throwing that ball. So I don't think the attempts will be an issue, right, when talking about run pass and different things like that. But to me, it's really just, if Caleb Williams, the 70% number is great, and I hope that we get there. But if we're not there every single week, I'm okay with that. As long as I see on a week in and week out basis throughout training camp here and heading into this season that Caleb Williams is taking what is available to him, right? The circumstances after he makes the pass, whether it's a good throw or not, of course that matters. But like, to me, that is a different conversation to have, because once the ball is out of his hands, it's on everyone else to make that now work. But how many times last season did we talk about the open man underneath and Caleb took a deep shot? Sometimes it worked out for him, sometimes it didn't. I think that not to say you don't want to see Caleb take the shots, because you do, but the reality of the situation with where Caleb Williams is at right now is, if he takes the easy passes that Ben Johnson opens up, you continue to make deposits, you continue to move downfield, especially early on in the football game. I think there's a lot of times last season, and listen, you can talk about it from both sides of the spectrum, right? There's times where Caleb Williams put the ball right on the money and Rome Odunze didn't catch it, or Olamide Zaccheaus didn't catch it, right? We saw that a number of times last season. But there's also those times where Caleb's trying to go for the big play. He's trying to find the home run play, spends too much time holding on to the ball, either ends up taking off or he throws a ball that kind of scares the crap out of all of us. Sometimes it got there, sometimes it didn't, and it was knocked away. But for me, that underneath route, right, being able to consistently go to Swifty, being able to consistently go to Cole Kmet, being able to consistently, I don't think Colston will be there as much this year, but go to Colston Loveland underneath, right? I think that's going to be very important for Caleb Williams, because especially early in the games, you never go broke making deposits. And if you can continue to get those first downs, if you can continue to put yourself in advantageous situations on the field, where you're just wearing the defense down bit by bit, then when you get to that fourth quarter and you need to be Iceman, when you need to go finish the game off and dominate somebody and close things out, I think you have a better opportunity. And I'll be honest with you, right? Like, the conversation around Caleb, I think, could go into us having a better defense this upcoming season. Less time on the field for the defense is going to be the best thing in the world, and being able to finally play with a lead. Right. So it's not just the benefit of going out there and, being an efficient quarterback, but also giving your defense an opportunity that they didn't have a ton last year. Right. How often were we playing from behind, trying to come back, trying to finish things off in the fourth quarter, and you've got to play this perfect game? I think now, if you are the Chicago Bears, if you're Caleb Williams, right, your biggest focus needs to be, if it's there, take it. Doesn't mean don't take the deep shots. When the deep shots are available, if you feel like you got the matchup, I'm okay with you taking those shots. But if it is there underneath early on in the games, I think it gets you into a much better rhythm. I think it opens up things for your run game as well. And we know how football works, right? If you are all of a sudden just killing guys underneath, that might have been crazy. If you are all of a sudden killing guys with the passing game underneath on the defensive side of the ball, right, what's going to end up happening? They're going to end up sliding up a little bit more. They're going to play a little bit closer to the line. They're going to try and take away the underneath stuff. What does that open up? Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, Roma Dunze over the top. That's the world that I think Ben Johnson is going to want to live in this year. That's the world that I think is going to be most beneficial to Caleb Williams and most beneficial to the Bears as a whole, because they're going to be expecting the trick plays. They're going to be expecting the explosive. What I think most teams are not going to be expecting early on in games is, hey, let's just take away everything at the bottom of the field or up front. Let's take away anything that's underneath. Let's let them throw over the top. Nobody's going to do that. They're going to go into games and sit there and try and take away everything explosive. Why? Because Ben Johnson loves an explosive play. The caveat to all of that, though, is with how Ben Johnson runs plays, the 5-yard pass over the middle can become an explosive play, especially if you've got some really good blocking from guys on the team like Roma Dunze, like Luther Burden, like Colston Loveland, right? So I think that's going to be a game changer for this team moving forward. What do you want to see from Caleb Williams? Is it just that 70% number? Which one might go hand in hand, but I think for me, putting a number on it, I'm not tripping on the number. I'm not losing my mind at the number. If Caleb Williams finishes the season 65%, he's one of the best quarterbacks in football. He just is, right? Like all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's 65% and he can make the Iceman throw, and he can go out there and escape sacks that we don't know how in the heck he got away from that and play Houdini, and he can go out there and use his legs to create for the team as well. Like now all of a sudden you become the complete quarterback, and I think that's the next step in this process. Let me know, like I said, how you guys feel in the comments below. Is the 70% number what you're looking for? Are you kind of like me, where you just want to see Caleb continue to improve and take that next step in his game by just taking some of the easy stuff when it's available to you? Let me know down in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. We're going to do this as a series, right? So stay tapped in over the next, we're 16 days away. So probably over the next, is there a weekend in here? Probably over the next like 10 days of us dropping episodes. We'll be dropping videos like this on the different position groups. Next, why don't we go offensive line next? Keep it on the offensive side. And then of course we'll get to the defense and I'll break down what I want to see from the offensive line this upcoming season. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down, one love. Peace.